move to Washington because the markets have shrugged off.
You're just not touching that. I don't blame you.
I'm not touching that one. But the markets have shrugged off, the whole debt ceiling debate. Is that a mistake? I mean, because I don't know if this June deadline is in fact the deadline where everything, falls apart. But if so, then it would seem we're in very perilous terrain right now.
So, let me turn that back on you. Can the markets make a mistake? Right? I mean, if those money flows or lack thereof reflects the consensus view, right, of the level of danger that presently exists, I mean, if that changes, the markets are going to change. And right now, I don't just mean investors. I mean, when I talk to central bank governors in the last week, there's a general sense of, yeah, Congress can do stupid, but they can't do that stupid. In other words, they're playing chicken, they're threatening each other, but ultimately they're not going to crash. I think that's right. I feel comfortable that there will not be a default on sovereign debt, and that we will not be facing in a month's time a major recession and a stock market crash and spiking unemployment and emerging market failures because McCarthy and Biden were incapable of ultimately getting something done. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think that there will be pain, and I think the markets will eventually move significantly before a deal is done. In other words, we have not yet gotten to peak debt limit crisis, and the level of complacency that exists today is unlikely to persist at this level as we get closer to X date.
And the pain being what, a credit downgrade? What does pain look like?
I don't know that we have to get to a credit downgrade. I'm not an economist, and I'm not inside.
I'm just a political scientist, damn it. But
yeah. So I'm not the person, fortunately, who has to make the call on a Moody's or an S&P, and when would that get triggered? I will tell you that politically, I think it will take McCarthy at least 10 days from when a deal is nominally sketched out with Biden to the point that he can convince his caucus in the House to vote for it, given just how narrow his margin for error is with the Freedom Caucus. In other words, I don't think he gets to a deal and then he puts it to a vote and they say yes. I think they say no, and then he has to go back, and then they say no again, and then he has to go back. Like, I think this is going to take us right up to the nominal June 1 date. I don't think it can get done by June 1 personally. If I haven't said that publicly, I'll make that prediction. I don't think it can get done by June 1.
Yeah.
That means that a couple of things could happen. First, Janet Yellen might say, yeah, I said June 1, that was my estimate, but really it's June 15. And so you've got a little bit more time. That
Take the summer.
Secondarily, we could get to June 1. The economists might be saying it really is June 1. Tax receipts weren't so great. We're really worried about this. And then you could have the members of the House be willing to support a 1-month punt to provide more time for negotiations. That could happen. Or you could get closer and closer, and some of the Republican caucus could say, we are okay with prioritization. Let's go past the X date because we're not going to default. Instead, there'll be a small number of bills that we won't pay. We'll still pay our sovereign debt off. And that's going to cause all sorts of crazy hair on fire panic. But that will also maybe get a slightly sweeter deal, juicier deal to reduce some of those progressive policies from Biden. And let's be clear, this is not all the Republicans' fault. I mean, Biden was capable of sitting down and negotiating with McCarthy months ago. He chose not to. Now he is. And the reason he's doing it now when he said he wasn't going to before is because the Republicans held and stuck to their guns. So, I mean, from their perspective, that was the right strategy.